All right, on this episode of Small Band Big Sound, we're going to talk about electronic drum kits. The reasons to use them, maybe not use them, how they will play into helping your small band possibly have a better gig than if you used an acoustic kit. So if you find that you end up liking this video, go ahead and give it that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to get notified of the next video. Anyway, so electronic drums. First, we're going to start with acoustic drums. Just a few things to say about acoustic drums. First, why do bands insist on acoustic drums? A lot of live bands insist on it. Their drummers insist on it. I'll give you a few reasons why. And then we'll get into the electronic drums and why that may sometimes be a better choice. The first reason that drummers will insist on acoustic drums, they play naturally. They feel better. This is for a couple reasons. The rebound is off of an acoustic drum head is usually more natural. You can feel feedback through the sticks. So when you hit an acoustic drum, a tom, snare, whatever, you feel that vibration through the sticks. It's a much more natural, responsive way to play, and so most drummers prefer it, and I don't fault them for that at all. The second reason is they look great. They look like what a crowd expects to see a drum set looking like. This adds to the experience when you have a crowd that is hearing with their eyes, which every crowd does. As an example, I got a DW kit pulled up here. The thing is just beautiful. There's no electronic drum set that can really pull off this look. So that's a big plus for acoustic kits. One of the other reasons that a lot of people don't realize that acoustic kits have an advantage, the cymbals sound much better, and I'll tell you the reason. A PA system, no matter how great it is, no matter how great the speakers are, how much power the system has, it can't 100% reproduce, especially the high shimmering harmonics of acoustic cymbals. So especially in a small gig, you're playing a small club, the audience and the crowd can actually hear those high harmonics of the cymbals. It's more exciting to hear a cymbal in real life. So a big advantage with an acoustic kit. But there are reasons to use an electronic kit. We're going to get into that right now. The electronic kit, much simpler to set up. You don't have to microphone the thing. You don't have to set up the mics. You don't have to know which mics to use. Run cables, have the right mic distance. An electronic kit, you just plug it in and you play, and it usually sounds pretty darn good because the kit is already sampled. So I always find it funny when guys will, in churches you'll see this or other places, they'll take their acoustic kit and they'll put it in an enclosure, a shell that blocks all the acoustic sound, and then microphone the thing. Now, number one, they lose the shimmer of the cymbals because the cymbals just have to run through a mic and through a PA, and they always risk not being able to mic it properly. At a fundamental level, this is the exact same procedures that an electronic kit uses, because every electronic kit on the market, even the cheap ones, are sampled hits. So these are already drum hits that somebody set up in a studio, mic'd properly, recorded properly, engineered properly, and you're hoping if you put your acoustic kit in an enclosure that your sound guy is going to be that good, that he or she is going to be able to set up those mics properly, EQ them and all that properly. The electronic kit, they've already done that work for you. And again, you put it in the enclosure, you're losing a lot of the advantage, certainly for the audience. You're losing the advantage of having an acoustic kit to begin with. So number one, the setup is simpler on the electronic kit. Number two, full volume control. So if you have a venue that insists you keep it down, or you're in a really difficult acoustic place, the drums are loud, but the electronic drums, you just turn the volume down. This is a big advantage. The third big advantage with an electronic kit for your gig, unlimited sounds. Most electronic kits already come with a whole bunch of sounds on the module that you can pick and choose for the song. This is especially beneficial if you're covering songs where you want the original sound of the song to be more part of a lot of pop music, R&B music requires different sounds song to song. So for cover bands, wedding bands, event bands, this is a huge advantage. Now, a couple of the cons for the electronic drum set while we're on it. They don't play naturally. The sticks don't rebound the right way. You don't feel it coming. The drummer's not going to have as good of an experience using the electronic kit most of the time that he or she would have on an acoustic kit. That's something to be aware of. Number two, they don't look right. A lot of electronic drum sets look like toys. Not great if you're trying to give a visual impression of a real band. Now, a lot of companies have made real good strides with this. As an example, I have pull up here a Roland V drums kit where they've used actual acoustic shells on snares, toms, kick, all that. So this is not quite as visually offensive as a lot of electronic drum sets. I pulled up the recent Elisa Surge. Still better than the old ones. I mean, they're still putting a little bit of a shell on there, that kind of a thing. This is a more natural look than some of the older model electronic drum sets. My really old V drum set doesn't look this natural. This isn't as good as the Roland kit, but in a pinch, this is a good budget kit anyway. It comes in $500-600. I also pulled an old Pearl ePro Live. This is a 10-year-old kind of a design, but they're using acoustic shells. This is a good way to do it if you still need the visual appeal of the acoustic kit, but you need the volume advantages and the sound advantages of the electronic kit. I'm going to give you 3 reasons to use an electronic drum set for your gig. Number 1, if the client or venue is concerned about loudness, the drums are the least controllable volume source you have on the stage. So, I mean, you can turn your PA down all day long, but if your acoustic set is blasting off the stage, you might have an unhappy client. Number 2, if your setup needs to be fast, if you need to get in, plug in, play, get out, it's real quick. An electronic drum kit, especially some of these travel ones or the ones that are on the small frames, can make this really fast, and the sound does not suffer the way that it might if you're trying to set up an acoustic kit and you're rushing with the mics or the sound check or the setup. Number 3, if you play tunes that require a variety of drum sounds or percussion sounds, an electronic drum set is a really great way to sort of automate this and make sure that from song to song, it sounds as authentic as it can be. I'm going to give you 4 tips for the way that I like to run electronic drums for a gig. Number 1, run them in stereo. Every electronic drum module has got at least stereo output. Run it in stereo, keep it wide. That's going to make it sound more natural. Don't run a mono channel like you might on some other instruments. It's a pretty flat sound. Number 2, possibly use felt drumsticks. And this ePro Live kit that I have pulled up here is a great example. The cymbals on this thing are brass. They're kind of a brass-coated cymbal, so when you hit them with a real stick, they make a clicky sound, where if you're trying to keep the volume low, you can actually hear the click from the audience. You hear the click of the drumsticks. Again, using felt tip, and I pulled up some Vic Firths here that are a good example of this. These ones have the felt heads. That's really helpful for getting that click to go away. The drummer's not going to have quite as good of an experience, but the audience will have a better experience doing this. And 3, and this is my favorite tip of all, use a wedge monitor near the electronic drum set, either behind the drummer, somewhere nearby, somewhere that's playing out at the audience. That way, if you have an audience that's in a low volume situation, they're close to the stage, they're still hearing drum sound come off the stage. This is a more natural way to feel. You don't want to have drum sound coming out of the PA that's going by them, and all they hear close by is a little thunk of rubber pads or the clank of these brass cymbals. Put a wedge monitor there. Either feed it from the drum module or run an auxiliary or bus mix from your board to get the drum sound coming from the drum set. It's just a little hack that will give your audience, your crowd, a better experience. Hope you enjoyed these tips. If I got something wrong, got something right, you have commentary. If I missed something, please leave a comment. Hit me up on social media, whatever. Would love to talk about it. And that's it. That's how you use electronic drums in your small band setup. And we'll see you next time.